All right, T minus 26 days to drag week, no, sick week. T minus 26 days to sick week. Last night I gapped all the rings. I didn't film it because it's boring. But here's how I do it. This is an actual tool specifically for this. It makes sure the ring is parallel and square in the bore. If you don't have one of those, you can always use an old piston to push it in there and make sure it's square. Standard feeler gauges for the gap. This is what I have for a piston ring file grinder doodad deal. Pretty cheap, not a big deal. After I'm done with that, I use this 800 grit stone to knock all the burrs off the gaps, and I'm good to go. For these rings, I went with the forced induction up to 15 pounds of boost. For the first ring, it's 6 thou times bore diameter, and for the second ring, it's 6.5 thou for the bore diameter. So for 4-inch bore, I've got 24 thou on the top ring and 26 thou on the second ring. And the oil rings are pretty much always way bigger than they have to be. They don't matter. I zip tie them all together in cylinder order so I know which cylinder they go in. Anyway, it's time to put some rings on pistons and hopefully get the short block together today. I'm about to make the internet big mad. So here's my old broken number 1 or 2 piston, I don't know. I'm gonna weigh it. 742 grams. I'm doing this in Canadian because it's easier to understand. This is my new, what is this, a Silverlight? Replacement piston. 666 grams, that's pretty ominous. So we're out what, like nearly 80 grams? That's a lot. Matter of fact, it's about the same. What is this? As this 13/16 socket. It's pretty big imbalance. It's not ideal, but the alternative is to buy a whole new set of pistons, which is not a huge deal. It's a couple $100. But would it be better to have a rotating assembly that's way out of balance because the new pistons are all so light, or only have one piston that's out of balance? The right thing to do would be to probably buy a new set of pistons and get the rotating assembly balanced. But that'd cost $500, and I'm just not spending $500 on that. Y'all know I'm just gonna send it, right? We'll see what happens. Yeah, so I guess this is my piston installation setup. My woodworking vise, my bench vise, a torch. I need to get that up to about 500 degrees to get that pin to slide through there easily. I don't want to try and do it on a press. I'm a hack, but I'm not that much of a hack. I feel like I should have gone with map gas on this. Ooh, we're close. Almost there. I'm not gonna lie, that worked a little better than expected. Now you gotta make sure you get your pin centered in the piston and the rod. Well, I got a first for you guys. I've got bird shit in my piston. My wife told me she came home the other day and there were a bunch of birds flying around in the garage. And apparently one relieved itself in my piston. Finally at that point where you feel like you're getting something done. I'm about to install all the pistons. I've got all the rings on, everything's cleaned up, ready to go. The bores are all cleaned. Got a light coat of oil. If you didn't know, coffee filters make a really good lint-free wipe down. I think I saw that on Humble Mechanic. It's a good idea, they're cheap. This is my ring expander. I don't know if I can recommend it or not. It's on Amazon. I guess it's a good time to mention the rebuild kit and everything came from Summit. I live like 40 minutes from the Summit in Georgia, so it just makes sense. And I got the whole rebuild kit for $97, so that's good. Budget. Here's my ring compressor. This is my first one of this style. I must say I like it. You just set the piston down in there, and you kind of walk the ring around, and it'll slide down in there. Pretty good little deal. Got this off the Amazon. Big thing, make sure you stagger all your ring gaps so they're not lined up. I know everybody's anal about that. Funny thing though, piston rings rotate around the piston while the engine's running. It differs based on the engine, RPM, and all that, and there's no real science to it. It just happens. That being said, my oil rings were completely locked down, and that's probably why it was burning a quart per tank. So even if you stagger them, there might come a point in time where they all just line up perfectly and you get a little excess oil burn and such. Finally, the rotating assembly's together, complete with one anorexic piston and a slightly impaired 4-bolt main cap. I sure hope this thing stays together. Anyway, it's time to put the cam in, and this is it. Where's the part number? Oh, there's the part number. That's the cam kit part number. It's got all the lifters and springs and doodads in there. There's the part number for the cam itself. It's 218, 224 duration, 462, 469 lift. It's moderate. It'll have a little thump at idle, but it's supposed to work with a factory torque converter, which we don't have. We got a manual. But either way, it's good from like 1300 to 5500. And that's really all we need. We're not going to rev this thing very high, especially since I jacked up that main cap. I have my doubts already. But there's another reason for that. I was only shooting for about 425 horsepower on this setup. I got a blower, so I don't need a big cam. And this motor was never destined to live very long in this truck, mostly because my buddy wants to take it and put it in a swamp buggy when I step up to something a little more powerful. Now it might just blow up. But either way, that's why I chose the cam I chose. Moderate cam for a swamp buggy with a blower on it.